16 students go in, but how many will escape with their lives? This is Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Danganronpa is a mystery visual novel from 2010. Over the course of a decade, the franchise has expanded from video games to light novels to anime, leaving its bright pink stain on popular culture. But it all started here, with Trigger Happy Havoc. Playing as student Makoto Naegi, you will investigate the murders and secrets of Hope's Peak Academy. The gameplay consists of murder investigations, class trials, and most important to this video, the free time events. Sure, this life is a horrifying existence, but why not take the time to spend some time with this colorful cast of characters? Doing so allows Makoto to learn more skills which he can utilize during class trials. Playing school mode will allow you to get all of these skills, but I wondered how many I could obtain just doing the main storyline. So I did some investigating of my own, and here is what I found. The game begins with Makoto entering Hope's Peak Academy, the school of ultimates, and then immediately passing out. Once he awakes, we get to meet the rest of the characters. We have Taka, the ultimate moral compass, Toko, the ultimate writing prodigy, Sayaka, the ultimate pop sensation, Leon, the ultimate baseball star, Hifumi, the ultimate fanfic writer, Hina, the ultimate swimming pro, Chihiro, the ultimate programmer, Kyoko, the ultimate detective. Though, when we're introduced to her, she doesn't say what her ultimate is. It's going to be pretty obvious she's the ultimate detective, so I'm just telling you now. Junko, the ultimate fashionista, Mondo, the ultimate biker gang leader, Sakura, the ultimate bodybuilder, Byakuya, the ultimate affluent prodigy, Hiro, the ultimate clairvoyant, and Celestia, the ultimate gambler. Oh, and Makoto is designated the ultimate lucky student, having no ultimate skill, but instead winning a lottery that allows him to join the students of Hope's Peak. You may recall me saying that there are 16 students, and yet I've only named 15, but don't worry, they're still here. They're just hiding somewhere within the walls of the academy. It's a mystery for later. The students are instructed to gather in the gym so that they can meet the new self-proclaimed headmaster Monokuma, who is a charismatic robot bear. Monokuma reveals that the students are all locked inside the school with only one way to escape. If a student can commit murder without being caught, they will be allowed to leave the school. This is known as the graduation clause. If the culprit goes free, everyone else will be killed. If the culprit is found out, they will be sentenced to death. The surviving students will remain in the school until someone can commit murder and get away with it. Oh, and one more thing. Monokuma has taken about 2 years of their memories away from the students. Yay! Despite all this, the students refuse to participate in the killing game. For now. After the meeting, you'll be able to explore the school a little bit more. In the first chapter, there's only the first floor of the school and the dorm halls available to explore. This first section will force you to spend most of your time with Sayaka, the pop idol. She's nice enough, but I personally resented her for being forced upon me. Spending time with her is one of the quickest and easiest skills to gain, that is known as Melodious Voice. This costs 3 skill points and increases damage to the opponent when a statement is destroyed during bullet time battle mode. Sayaka is the first of 3 students to die during this chapter. The other 2 are Junko and Leon. The first of the 3 free time events in this chapter must be spent with Sayaka, meaning you will automatically earn her one and only skill. This leaves 2 more free time events left with Leon and Junko. Junko's skill Trance can be unlocked using 2 free time events. Leon's Robot Jock can be unlocked after 1 event. Spending a second event with him only increases your skill points. So let's compare for a moment. Robot Jock increases your truth bullet rate of fire, which is effective during the non-stop debate and the bullet time battle final strike, and costs 3 skill points, while Trance helps the focus gauge recover more quickly and costs 4 skill points. Personally, I think Leon's ability is more important here, so I would spend the second free time event with Leon and a third with Chihiro. It won't help much now, but it'll be beneficial in the long run. So there's that, and Sayaka's guaranteed ability. Now let's get to the summary for Chapter 1. Monokuma isn't one for pacifism, so he provides the students with motives during each of the chapters. In Chapter 1, each student receives a DVD of loved ones initially smiling and happy before the video cuts to some disturbing footage. In Makoto's video, he sees his family sitting on the couch of his living room before it cuts to an empty and destroyed room. For Sayaka, she sees her bandmates lying limp on stage, which motivates her to kill Leon and attempt to frame Makoto. Had she been successful, she could have escaped and gone to check on her friends, but things don't go according to plan. Instead, Leon kills her in self-defense. Before the investigation can begin, Junko attacks Monokuma, which is prohibited in the school rules and is therefore punishable by death. Before dying, she says, "What? Huh? This isn't supposed to... Why me?" Almost as if she's confused, which will be explained later. After her death, the students finish investigating, hold the trial, and Leon is punished by Monokuma. At the end of Chapter 1, we have 2 skills, those newest ones being Melodious Voice and Robot Jock, and we have 13 students remaining. Chapter 2. This chapter has 5 free time events and 2 victims, Chihiro and Mondo. Chihiro has the status effect Depressed during the first 2 events. When a character is depressed, they will refuse to spend time with you, leaving a pretty simple decision to spend the first 2 events with Mondo. Spend the 3rd with Chihiro, the 4th with Toko, and the 5th with Taka. That means that in this chapter, you will earn Downshift from Mondo, Algorithm from Chihiro, Vocabulary from Toko, and Attentive Influence from Taka. This chapter's motive is information. Monokuma says that he knows and will reveal the secrets of these students. Everyone has at least one. A few days after the motive is revealed, Chihiro's body is found in the girls' locker room. The presentation of the body mimics that of victims of a serial killer known as Genocide Jack. It is revealed that Mondo killed Chihiro after finding out a secret. Chihiro is actually a man. Okay, now wait. Let's just walk this through. Okay, so is this some horrible, problematic, transphobic story event? We'll talk about it. So, the story is, as Monokuma tells it, Chihiro had, quote, an extreme inferiority complex regarding his own lack of strength. As a child, he was often taunted with things like, "You're so weak, even though you're a boy," and to avoid further bullying, he decided to lean into this perception and dress as a girl. So, when Monokuma threatened to reveal the secrets of the students, Chihiro made the decision that he was going to train and become stronger, and then, become comfortable revealing the secret on his own. So we see Chihiro think to himself, quote, "I'm going to get stronger and accept who I am." There are a lot of different ways to read this situation. Plenty of people have said that this is a trans take, this isn't a trans take. My take as a trans person is that Chihiro is not a trans girl. It's just that he is a victim of toxic masculinity in more senses than one. Honestly, the most problematic element of this story is that Chihiro didn't want to be seen as a weak boy, so he decided to be a girl, because girls aren't supposed to be strong. Anyway, I can't educate him on feminism because he's dead. So Chihiro wants to be strong and asks Mondo to help him train. Chihiro confesses his secret to Mondo, also a victim of toxic masculinity, and Mondo kills him in a prideful rage. However, Mondo values the bro code above all else, so he moves Chihiro's body back into the girls' room, trying to preserve the secret. Then Byakuya tampered with the body, basically just for shits and giggles. And by the way, Genocide Jack is in Hope's Peak. Apparently Toko has a split personality. By day she writes romance, and by night Genocide Jack goes on little killing sprees. Oddly enough, Genocide Jack never murders anyone, so go figure. By the time that Chapter 2 has finished, we will have earned Downshift, Algorithm, Vocabulary, and Attentive Influence, meaning we will have gained 4 skills and leaving us with 11 students still alive. Before the end of Chapter 2, Mondo and Taka had previously become very close. They spent a lot of time bonding, and as a result, Taka is completely catatonic in the wake of Mondo's punishment. So he is going to be afflicted with the depressed effect for the rest of the game. Within this chapter, we have 3 deaths, that being Taka, Hifumi, and Celeste. As I mentioned, Taka will have the depressed effect for the entirety of this chapter and on, which is why we spent time with him in the previous chapter to gain his skill. So, in this chapter, I say that you should spend 1 event with Hifumi and all remaining events with Sakura. You may think, wait, well, if Celeste's going to die, why not spend time with her? And to answer that, we'll have to take a quick look at... I was initially very confused about how gifts work when I was writing this video. I thought that giving them to NPCs might allow you to skip ahead and unlock new skills quicker, so I falsely believed that giving Sakura a gift she loved during the first event would unlock skill points and breathing technique. As a result, I made a really complicated sheet that outlined what path you would follow if you had gifts that certain NPCs loved, including having one gift for one NPC, 2 gifts for the same NPC, 1 gift for one for another, 2 gifts for the other NPC, and so on. Not to mention separate paths based on the outcomes of which gifts and combinations of gifts you choose to give in certain chapters, and then in the next chapters. It's just a whole huge mess. But I did my best, finished it up, and found out that I completely misunderstood the entire concept. So how do gifts actually work? There's a certain amount of special conversations that NPCs can have with you. At the beginning of your relationship, those unique interactions are given freely. However, the more you interact, the more likely it is that your relationship will stagnate without the assistance of a gift. It's pretty shallow, but whatever. Giving NPCs gifts they love later into your relationship with them means you will continue to have unique interactions and come closer to gaining new skills. If you do not give them these gifts, they'll say something generic about enjoying their time with you, and their report card will not update. So with that out of the way, let's briefly return to Sakura. Since we're hoping to gain all 2 skills offered by an NPC in this chapter, we're going to start implementing gifts. At this point, you will have collected multiple mono coins, whether that be through class trials or just finding them around Hope's Peak. So you'll have plenty of money to spend when you go to the school store. The one thing about implementing gifts is that this is an incredibly tedious task, because for whatever reason, the designers of the game have it so that 1 mono coin will get you 1 gift. 2 will still be 1 gift. 3, 5, 10, 20, no matter how many coins you put into this machine, you will only ever get 1 gift. So if you're trying for a specific gift, you will have to continue to tediously put in 1 coin, 2 coins, whatever. It's just manual. There's no way to get multiple gifts at once, and they never fix this throughout any of the games. The only thing that changes as you continue to put in more coins is that the item that you will get will be more rare. But you can still get objects that the NPCs will love by using only 1 coin. In my own experience playing the beginning of Chapter 1, where you only get 14 mono coins, I was still able to get Rose and Vitero before running out of coins. Some of the other items that Sakura loves are the God of War charm, fresh bindings, Asura Tears, and Secrets of the Omoplata. You'll know she loves it because she will say, "I've been looking everywhere for this. How did you know?" So to reiterate, 1 event with Hifumi, the remaining 4 with Sakura, and make sure that you give her the aforementioned gifts when you spend time with her. The reason I chose this is because Celeste's skill raise cannot be earned until after 3 free time events, and as I'm focusing on earning as many skills as possible, I would opt for 3 skills over 2. And even if I wasn't, raise only gets you more mono coins, so it's really not that good of a skill. So this chapter has a double murder. What's the point of this? Well, Monokuma says at the beginning of this chapter that the students will be tempted by tons of money. Given Celeste is the ultimate gambler, I thought that the point of this chapter was going to be that she was drawn to the challenge, considering the ultimate gamble would be like $1 million or her life. The actual reason that she's a murderer in this chapter is that she secretly always wanted to be some sort of European princess, and she thinks that getting this money will afford her this lifestyle. I like my version a little better, but you do you, game. So Hifumi and Celeste team up to work together and kill Taka. Celeste will then betray and kill Hifumi. Celeste is caught and given the Salem witch treatment. And also prior to this trial, we learned that before meeting an unfortunate end in Chapter 2, Chihiro found a computer and created an AI known as Alter Ego to help the students escape. This is just something that happens during the chapter. It's not the most important thing now, but it will be in Chapter 5. At the end of Chapter 3, we will have earned Handicraft, Breathing Technique, and Tranquility. This leaves us with a total of 3 skills this chapter and a remaining 8 students. Chapter 4 only features one death, that being Sakura. She chose to take her own life, making her her own victim and killer. As you may have guessed, she isn't in a very good mindset during the free time events, so she will be depressed or unavailable for every free time event in this chapter, which is why we spend time with her in Chapter 3. At this point in the game, we only have 6 free time events remaining with a total of 5 students. Well, actually, it's more like 4, because Kyoko is completely unavailable during the remaining free time events. So that leaves Hina, Byakuya, and Toko. Hina's available for 4.1, 4.2, 5.1, and 5.2. Hiro and Byakuya are available for all 6 events. Toko is available for all but 4.2, which is one of the few events in which you can talk to her alter ego, Genocide Jack. So we're going to take advantage of that. So my recommendation is that you will spend 4.1 with Hiro, 4.2 with Genocide Jack, 4.3 and 4.4 with Byakuya, earning you Lost in Thought, Trigger Happy, and Cool and Composed. You'll also want to begin gifting items to Byakuya during this chapter. He loves the Civic Coffee, Scarab Brooch, Golden Gun, Old-Timey Radio, Crystal Skull, Golden Airplane, Prince Shotoku's Globe, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, Millennium Prize Problems, and Pagan Dancer. You'll learn he loves a gift if he says, "Now this is a rare moment coming from a noble family. I've never been exposed to such vulgarity," or "interesting, I think I'll keep it." In this chapter, it's revealed that Sakura has actually been working as a mole for Monokuma because he had threatened to shut down her family's dojo. But she says she can't stand to work with him any longer or threaten her friends, so as a result, she takes her own life. What's really fascinating about this chapter is that Hina, who has grown incredibly close with Sakura, tampers with the crime in an attempt to falsely convince people that someone else has killed Sakura and doom all of them. Hina, previous to this, has had nothing that would indicate that she would do something so dark. But here we are. She does not succeed, and Sakura's is the last death that we witness among these students. At the end of Chapter 4, we'll have earned 3 skills, Lost in Thought, Trigger Happy, and Cool and Composed. There are 7 students remaining. For Chapters 5 and on, we only have 2 free time events remaining, which you can spend with Hiro, Hina, Toko, and Byakuya. Kyoko is not going to be available for any of the remaining events. And you may have noticed that the path that we have paved means never interacting with the quote-unquote best girl. And here's where I have to admit, I don't like Kyoko. I get that many people like a tsundere or standoffish type, but Kyoko objectively takes a lot of time to warm up to you and truly only lets her guard down once. If you continue to spend time with her, you may get her to blush on your 3rd free time event by complimenting her smile. She truly isn't unkind, especially compared to some of the other characters, but she generally keeps to herself a lot, rarely opening up, and frequently is unavailable to spend time with, especially for a character that, at least in the true ending, survives Hope's Peak. Many have also praised the interactions that she has with Makoto. I just don't see the chemistry, at least in this game. She's better in the anime, but I'm playing a game, which means that I want my time to be spent selfishly. I want to interact with characters who grab my attention or that I can have meaningful interactions with, and she's just not the one for that. And for the purpose of this video, Kyoko only offers 1 skill, which is only accessible after spending 3 free time events with her. So I've skipped her. But this is a strategy outline that is made subjectively, so feel free to ignore me whenever you do your own playthroughs. As mentioned before, you'll have 2 free time events that you can spend with Hina, Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. I've already recommended that in some fashion you spend time with Toko in Chapter 4, meaning you've already gained her one and only skill, so Byakuya is your best bet. Having spent 2 events with him already, you're guaranteed to get his final skill within Chapter 5, which is known as Envious Influence, so long as you've been gifting him the items that he likes. There are no other skills that can be gained, so why not get your final increase in skill points with whichever survivor you find the most compelling? You know, a little treat. just for you. So now all that's left to do is wrap up the plot and take a look at how many skills you've unlocked. In Chapter 5, the crew encounters the mysterious 16th student. Makoto wakes to them brandishing a knife over his bed. Later, the body of the 16th student is discovered. Before their identity can be revealed, a bomb goes off, scorching the body beyond recognition. The mastermind of the killing game is trying to get rid of Makoto, but you may recall that I mentioned Chihiro made an AI program known as Alter Ego. This is when that comes back into play. So Alter Ego is going to save you from dying. As a side note, you can get a secret bad ending in this chapter. Makoto will catch Kyoko and a lie, and if he chooses to acknowledge that lie, she will be punished, and then the game just ends. So within this ending, you get a brief epilogue in which you learn that the killing has since stopped and everyone is living in peace here. It reveals that Hina has mothered 3 children, 1 to each of the boys, and Toko has mysteriously died. This ending makes me really uncomfortable. So let's get back to the true ending. After escaping death, Kyoko finds Makoto in the garbage dump, and together they rejoin the survivors. Kyoko confronts Monokuma about breaking the rules and demands a retrial. So now we have to figure out what actually happened. Who killed the 16th student? Who were they really? And what is the nature of the killing game? The 16th student is known as Mukuro, the ultimate soldier. However, Mukuro is not the mastermind, at least she's not the only one. Mukuro actually entered the killing game posing as Junko, who we learn is her twin sister. Mukuro was meant to partake in the game while Junko stayed hidden to run it, until now. Junko emerges, replacing Monokuma and assists in tying up all loose ends. The Junko we knew was known as the ultimate fashionista, but the real Junko is the ultimate despair. You may recall when Mukuro, dressed as Junko, was killed back in Chapter 1, her final words were that of confusion. Junko had not originally intended to kill Mukuro, but once the opportunity presented itself, she decided that nothing embodied despair quite like one sibling killing the other. This is also how the body discovered in Chapter 5 is not a new death. Instead, it was Mukuro's body, killed in Chapter 1. When the bomb went off, it made it so that the students could not identify the corpse nor the original cause of death, explaining why the morgue was short one body. Since the figure in Makoto's room was masked, he wasn't able to tell that this was the real Junko in disguise. As for the killing game, this takes place in the wake of a tragedy known as the tragedy. Yeah, so this gets a little, I'm 14 and this is deep, but I don't really mind it too much. And if you do, you're just gonna have to stick with me on it. All the students we meet knew each other for about a year before the tragedy. While dystopia loomed, the headmaster of Hope's Peak offered for the class to stay safe in the school. In this time, Junko killed the headmaster, wiped the memories of the students, and began the killing game basically because she thinks it's fun. In the end, Makoto convinces everyone to deny despair, taking on the role of the ultimate hope, and defeating Junko. Junko takes her own life using the punishment we've previously seen Makoto escape, and the 6 students of Hope's Peak Academy go into the real world. And so we escape despair. Or did we? Over the course of this gameplay, we have managed to earn a total of 13 skills. In Chapter 1, it was Sayaka's melodious voice and Leon's robot jock. Chapter 2, Mondo's downshift, Chihiro's algorithm, Toko's vocabulary, and Taka's attentive influence. Chapter 3, Hifumi's handicraft, Sakura's breathing technique, and Sakura's tranquility. Chapter 4, Heroes Lost in Thought, Genocide Jill's or Genocide Jack's Trigger Happy, and Byakuya's Cool and Composed. Chapter 5, Just the One Skill, Byakuya's Envious Influence. And so as the game comes to a close, you will have earned 13 skills, which is 2.16 earned per chapter. This seems pretty good, but that actually means that there are 50% of skills that we have yet to unlock. So if you've loved interacting with these characters, I recommend that you go into school mode and go for that 100% completion rate. Thanks for watching this video, and remember to hold on to hope.